Hi, I'm Maggie, and I'm going to talk today about immigrants and the stigma or the label that's put on them for being dirty, diseased, and at fault for some of these diseases that come into our country. So, to begin, disease stigma goes back decades, centuries. It goes all the way back to the medieval period. Nearly every stage in history, in reference to almost every major disease outbreak, one stigmatizing theme is constant disease outbreaks are blamed on low or immoral people, and these people must be quarantined or removed for their threat to society. These low and immoral people are often identified as outsiders, on the fringes of society, such as foreigners, immigrants, racial minorities, and people of low socioeconomic status. I found an article on CNN's website. It's dated back from 2014, and it was titled Vectors or Victims, and in it talked of how doctors slammed rumors that migrants carry diseases. Obviously, rumors have been put on anti-immigration websites, and they've been brought out into the mainstream media about this stigma. So I'm going to start with children. Many children who do come into our country, they do lack basic vaccinations. Since October, and this is still referring to the article, so 2014, more than 52,000 children traveling without an adult have been caught entering U.S. through Mexico. While, yes, some of these children were ill, they did not have anything exotic or unexpected. Rumors spread that kids could spread diseases such as Ebola, but some of these countries that these kids are coming from, Ebola doesn't even exist there. One disease that's been at risk of kids from Central America is tuberculosis. Tuberculosis cannot be transmitted casually. We have to keep in mind that many of these kids, they're parentless. They're in a situation that's completely beyond their control. And for humanitarian reasons, we need to ensure that these kids get the help and care that they need. Interestingly, on a World Bank statistic, it indicated that some of these kids that are traveling from other countries, the countries that they're traveling from, they actually have a higher vaccination rate than the United States when it came to some of these diseases. For example, measles, Mexico had a 99.9% vaccination rate, and while the US only has a 92.1 vaccination rate. And countries such as Guatemala, El Salvador, and Honduras, they have a 93.3% up-to-date vaccination rate in their own country. Migrants face such discrimination that many are regretful of sharing their condition with people, even such as their neighbors. Whenever a contagious disease strikes, it continues with this long history of stigmatization in human communities. People want to blame someone, so they blame the most obvious or the most vulnerable people, immigrants. Stigmatization looms large in global health ethics because it prevents those with diseases from seeking care, because those with the disease are afraid of continuing on with this label. It renders fear of those who have disease. It prevents those with the disease from seeking care. It causes prejudice against entire groups or communities, and in some cases it invokes violence against the stigmatized group. People have said awful things about migrants. For example, talk show hosts, they've been quoted as saying, illegal immigrants are the perfect mules for bringing this virus to America, and pointed to illegals who sulk across our border to contributing to such diseases. Consider the names of the influenza pandemics since the 1800s. You have the Spanish flu, the Russian flu, the Asia flu, the Hong Kong flu, And most recently, the H1N1 was known as the Mexican flu. This is a long, sad, and a shameful tradition in the United States in using fear of disease, contagion, and contamination to stigmatize immigrants and foreigners. But this is real. This is happening. But you know what? Immigrants are here. They're here to stay. Regardless what we think about them, what drove them to be here, and whose fault it may be, these people need help. And we need to be the ones to take care of them.